Yeah. Jesus Christ.
All right, let's do another update on my car. So we have some events coming up. I did get the invite to Sick Week, which is another drag and drive event, and this time in February in Florida. So the weather should be awesome. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're doing an 8th mile like Rowdy Radio class. So, and my car only has an 850K, so I'll be limited to the 850 quarter mile class, and it's basically an index. There's a few different rule sets based on tires, so we're going to kind of see where we fit in there once that all gets established. But I'm signed up, I'm paid. I think Mike is going to go with me as my co-pilot, and should be fun. A nice break from the Indiana winter. Also, I'll be signing up for Rocky Mountain Race Week 1.0 in June. Not sure who's all going to come with. Micah might take his car if we get that done by then, which we will. And then I'll do Rowdy Radial, which is the 8th mile, let it rip. And I know I have some other buddies doing it, and we'll be all going for 4's second average. No one's done a 4-second average for the week yet. So I think there's going to be a lot of people going for that. So I don't have enough power or light enough. So I'm going to try to start addressing both of those things. And that's the point of this video. So power wise, still have the FP 7275s. Thinking about upgrading to the 7875s, which will be a drop-in replacement. And another option is the HD 8082s, which are bigger but still T4. It's just going to be tight fit and have to redo some of my piping, which is fine, but I can make it fit. So we'll see. Concern with 8082s is getting them spooled up in Bandamere at elevation. So that's the power side. Motor is about done finally. So this is just staying in here for now, but the Dart 388 is almost done, and then I got to put heads on it and swap everything and blah blah blah. Check push rod length, and so it'll be a little while, but that's getting there. Then turbos I talked about, and then weight. So I'm still trying to keep the stockish looking interior. So I haven't been able to commit to cutting all this up yet. But good opportunities are brakes. So front and rear, and have a lot of stuff to put together. But for the front, Anti-Lag Racing, Warren there got me set up with Willwood kit for the front. He makes these brackets, and then he sends instructions with it, with all of the other components to buy, and you can buy some of the stuff on your own. So he got all this stuff for the front. This is actually non-turbo 3000 GT hubs and brakes, which is very similar to a 1G DSM. So what I got from Warren at Anti-Lag is a 1G DSM kit. Now, just for you 3000 GT guys that follow, he's actually working on a kit for twin turbo hubs. So you guys will be able to get that probably within the next month or so. So it's antilag2000.com. And then for the back, you guys got to check this out. So I took the axles out, because you have to take the axles out to get the brakes put on, and got a little twist action in both of them. So here's the engagement, and then the rest of the whole axle twists, and it's almost 2 splines worth of twist, which is, according to Strange, now these aren't Strange axles, but according to Strange, once you get past 2 splines, then they recommend replacing them. So I did get some replacements with, I still got to press these on, but new bearings. This stuff all has to go on first. So this is for a Strange rear brake kit. And the front ones I didn't mention, but the front wheel woods are vented, and then the back is just solid. And then Strange caliper, which looks exactly like Willwood. Exactly like Willwood. So these kind of fit onto here. And then that bolts to the axle itself. And I'll show you guys this after I start putting it together. I got to press these on and then slide it in and start bolting everything up. So, all right, so that's some power, some of the weight, rotational weight, and then I also took some other weight out here. Give me a second here. Messy, but there used to be a big methanol tank here, and I don't know that it was really helping me with anything. And with E85, and I actually have jugs of good E85 from Ignite instead of just pump, so I took that out. That methanol tank weighed about 30 pounds, and then I also swapped the hatch, another 30 pounds. And then brakes, they advertised the rear as saving 30 pounds. I weighed it, only is 20 pounds. And then the front, I still have to weigh everything, but somewhere around 20, 30 pounds up front too. So that's not too bad, and keeps everything in the interior as is. Now, depending upon the class I end up running for sick week, I may have to put stock doors back on. So that adds another, that all the weight I took off goes right back on with the doors. Same with the hatch. So that kind of stinks, but it's regardless, it's 100 pounds ahead of where I would have been. Everything else is set up, ready to go for sick week. But the doors, so we shall see. So working on these axles here. First time I've ever done this with a solid axle deal. So this unfortunately has to go on first. You can't just slip it over. And then this is the bearing seal. You just slip that on, and then the bearing itself gets pressed on. So that's pressed to here. And now this, they call it a wedding ring. You have to press this on, which holds it in and sets the depth into the axle, I believe. So that's what I'm doing now. See if it works. It's going. That's a lot of pressure. That is not fun. All right, got it. Once it started going, after a while it started slipping better. Looks like it's all tight. A little nerve-wracking. But there we go. Do the other side. Actually, I may see if that slides in first. Ooh, that worked. Oh man, that was scary, because you cannot take those back off. At least I don't have the tools to. Everything I read says you have to cut that all off, but it all fits. Then just have to tighten this down. They provide new hardware, Strange does, with the kit. So I'll replace all that. And yeah, That's good. Looks fancy when everything else back here is well, shoot. That did not work. Haven't pressed on, but putting them in sticks out too far. The axle does. So if you look here, this retaining ring versus that retaining ring. You versus the guy she told you not to worry about. And unfortunately, I already put that on. I phoned a friend, well, emailed, local guy that originally set this up to see if he has one of these smaller ones. This is what came with the kit, supposedly for my rear end. Clearly doesn't work. So this is where you guys that know solid axle stuff, I don't know what I'm doing. This bottoms out in the housing and basically sets the axle stick out, I guess you could call it. So this one's about 10 millimeters difference, so it sticks out too far. And then with the bracket for the brakes, it ends up not centering the brake correctly because then this bolts to the housing and it all sticks out a little bit too far. Well, this still actually bolts to the housing, and then this sticks out too far. And then the brake that bolts to this isn't then centered on the brake rotor when it's on the hub. So hopefully I can get a shorter ring locally and get this separated and pulled off and new one put on so that I can actually finish it. It needs to be done on both sides. So I'm going to start on the front next and hopefully don't have any issues there. I got to take all this apart and I'll check in after I make some progress, hopefully. All right. Oh, this is going to be impossible. All right, you guys are going to have to trust me, but I weighed this and it was 27.2 pounds for the stock stuff. Now I'm going to get the new stuff out. All right, let's see here. I assume it's done. 14. So 13.2 pound savings per side. So 26.4. Also not 30. But better than the rear. So 26 on front. Crap. Let's try this. Yep, 27.2. All right, so decent savings on the front. And looks nicer. That's way lighter. This is much lighter than that. Now, the only thing I don't have on here is the hardware, so that's a little bit. Aluminum hat. This is pretty beefy. I got the full, not the scallop deal, and it's vented. And then, it actually is a bigger diameter slightly. So, all right, now fun part is I have to bolt all this together, safety wire and all that kind of good stuff. So that's gonna take a little bit of time, but I'll start on that now. Watching a little Rob Dom while I work on my car. Hey, everybody tag him. Copy my YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. I wanna do a this versus that of his 4-rotor all-wheel drive RX-7 versus my LS 4-wheel drive 3000 GT. So, annoy the crap out of him. Let's make it happen. I'll tow my car to California and race him. Hell, I'll drive it there if that's what it takes. Cool. All right, back to the action. So, pretty cool stuff. This bolts on. This does fit. And we had some concerns that with my tubular control arms that I built in these big cups, it may hit, but plenty of room for the rotor, no problem. So I'm gonna keep working on this, get everything Loctited and on, and then put on a wheel and make sure everything fits good. Oh yeah, that's awesome. I have no pressure on it yet since I don't have any brakes back there, but it's good. It's centered like perfectly. So thanks, Warren. This thing fits beautifully. And then the only thing I got to do yet, I run spacers to set everything where I want it for tire clearance and still clear this. So I got to bolt these on yet, and then I'll check out wheel clearance, but I don't see any issues. This is like super tight here, and he made these for a 15-inch wheel, so everything's looking good. I really like this. Yeah, I mean, it fits. Yeah, it's not enough light. There we go. Sounds like something may be rubbing, but it might just be the axle. Ugh. I might have to do something with that brake line. I can't really see. It's dark in here. All right, you guys can see that it was all dark behind there, but it was just the brake line rubbing a little bit. So I'm gonna have to tie that up out of the way a little bit, or make a little bracket. It only does it when it was turned. But yeah, ton of space, all good, and saves 26 pounds or whatever he said it was. Not too shabby. And honestly, should brake better than what I had before. I just had stock pads and stock non-turbo brakes. So these are bigger and more aggressive pads. All right, so I got it. Apparently, I switched from a ball bearing in the axle to a tapered roller bearing. And so that's why it had a seal on the outside of the axle for the tapered. And then this previously sat on the inside for the ball bearing deal. So you had to knock this out first, and then it would go in. But it wasn't, the axle spacing isn't exactly the same. It's about 1/8 of an inch off. So took some fun with making that fit. Everything's out a little bit now, but it does all fit. The brake caliper is centered over the rotor, and still needed a spacer to fit my wheels and tires, but that's all on. And now to the other side. Finally, all done. Front, rear, on both sides. So now, basically just waiting for the motor. So short block, then I gotta put heads on, measure push rod length, order new push rods, and put it in and start tuning on it. I don't know if I talked about it, but I may have to put stock doors back on, but I may be able to keep them depending upon, there's some class rules that are still coming out. So be nice if I could keep the fiberglass doors, because I have the glass and everything in here, stock glass. I'd have to like transfer that all over to stock doors. I think that's gonna wrap up this video. Hopefully the next video is putting a motor together, getting it in there, and firing it up and start tuning it. So stay tuned and appreciate all the support.